meeting is that we've got a application for a Class 2 used car license for Jared's Auto Wholesalers. And last time you were here before us, there were just some technical things that we had to make sure that we knew what we were doing. I know, Bob, you were involved in this, so I have no problem turning the conversation over to you and the research that you found and why we're here at this point.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. First off, I'd like to say to Mr. Marinelli, I appreciate your patience. Once we got down to brass tacks and figured out what we had to do, I know it took longer than you wanted it to, but I wanted to make sure it got through. Ultimately, gentlemen, just so everybody's aware, the current location had a Class 2 auto license, and we had some back and forth with the current license holder, and ultimately, after speaking with the current license holder and with Mr. Marinelli, we're here. So the first part of this here, before we get to Mr. Marinelli, is when I spoke with Mr. Knox, which is Hay Street Auto Sales. He agreed to amend his license, which is currently at 50 cars, down to 25.
Okay.
So I would make a motion to amend the current Class 2 used car sale license for Hay Street Auto from 50 cars to 25.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion, I'll second that.
All those in favor?
All those in favor? You got me all
I know, I'm
confused
sorry.
right now.
But,
Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Mr. Marinelli, if you want to speak before we get to the next part, I know you already went through some of this, but we had also discussed a couple of our concerns and questions,
Correct.
Which we haven't brought back.
Right, yeah, I'm only minimum probably 10, 15 cars, reliable cars, affordable prices, and just looking to support the community.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
Mr. Marinelli, just for clarification too, we had spoke offline about this, but you do have a section of office space
Yes,
with facilities as well
yes.
for residents. Excellent.
All right.
Anybody?
Any questions?
No, I do have one question, and I'll go back to the original owner of the property, Mr. Knox.
Yep.
Your license was for 50 cars, used
Correct.
cars. We just made a motion to have your license amended to 25 cars.
Correct.
This gentleman here just said something about 15 cars. Would you prefer that we?
I prefer that it stays 25, 25.
That's what
Even
I-
if he's only going to have 50.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yep, no,
So
that's-
somewhere down the road, if it comes back to you.
Correct.
You're back to your original
Yep.
license that you had obtained through the previous
Right.
owner at
And then I'm
50.
going to hire Paul Train to come back,
Yeah.
salesman. and
So I'll make a motion to approve Gem Auto Sales, a 25 car use Class 2 license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
you.
Congratulations. Best
Thank
of
you,
luck.
gentlemen.
Right. Next appointment is with Badge Quest.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Dylan Cogswell. I'm the president of Badge Quest Inc. And we've been selected to provide promotional assessment center for police chief and police deputy chief. And I'm here to answer any questions anybody have about that process. We work directly with Massachusetts Civil Service, HRD. We follow all of their standards and protocols. It's a standardized format, and we strive to put all the candidates through a fair and realistic process and provide HRD with information that they use to generate a list, a rank list that is provided to the hiring authority to aid them in their decision about who to promote into those positions. So I'm here to answer any questions anybody has.
When the process officially kicks off, how long does it take from like cradle?
So when the first thing we'll do once we're put in contact with whoever, either at the department or at the town, that's going to be our contact. We have some informational gathering that we do. We do a department profile and a job task analysis to understand the department, understand the community, understand the positions, the responsibilities of the positions, and we will fill out HRD vendor form. And essentially, it's telling civil service what are the exercises that we're going to use, which is all secure information. Obviously, the candidates can't know ahead of time any of that stuff. And civil service requirement is 12 weeks from the submission of that form until the assessment center date. And then when we get that turned around, once we administer the assessment center, I submit the scores, the score report into civil service on the same day. And then civil service can take, 1 or 2 weeks. It's, been improving, but so I can't really speak to them exactly what their time frame is, but that's kind of my experience of the average. So that's kind of what the time frame looks like.
What do you need from us at this point to get this thing really?
Yeah, I need whoever my primary contact is going to be, their email or their phone number, who I'm going to work with to get the information that I need to provide to civil service.
As a board, did we settle on that already, or?
No, you haven't, and I would suggest that it's a board member.
Okay. As chairman, I'm happy to do it. Fine by me.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, it's also, this is the board's opportunity, since you've obviously had a police chief for a while, but you've also created a deputy chief's position to inform the company that's going to run the assessment center of what your priorities are and why you created this position.
Gentlemen? Kevin, you went through this last time. I wasn't on the board. We went through this
you mean-
exercise.
Not for deputy chief, but, so you folks have it on your resume, Town of Acushnet 2019. You did the assessment center. I've read through everything you've presented here. Couldn't be happier to have you back in the Town of Acushnet to conduct this assessment center. So it was kind of, as we were mulling over whether or not we were gonna go with us, we were rolling around deputy chief, second in command, whatever it may be, talking to the police department, the former chief, and then the provisional chief, having that discussion. We thought it would be wise to incorporate that now into the chief's assessment center, to have that on the shelf, right? If we needed it, we had it. And I was under the impression back then that and I still am, and I know that it's only a 2-year list like sergeant's list out, but creating a deputy chief somewhere down the road, I think it's in the best interest of the department. God forbid if something were to happen, or the current chief were to just say, hey, I'm done, here's my notice, see you later. We're not stuck in a situation where we have that vacancy and everybody's kind of scrambling on what we're doing. And as we have done in the past, I'm gonna say 1.5 years now, assign a provisional chief, police chief, right? So I think that's kind of where I'm looking at it from my perspective, is to kind of have that second in command there. It comes down to anything. It could be an illness from the police chief. At least then you have that second in command there ready to go and take control of the department, where if something else were to happen, you kind of left empty-handed, right?
Absolutely.
So we've done, and I don't know if you received them with the delegation letters, but we've done some work with job descriptions in both of them.
Yep.
So I hope that you have them, and if you don't, I have the copies that
I have them, yep.
we've kind of done for job descriptions. So kind of play that along for you folks and your assessors to be looking at, to develop the assessment center. So, I mean, it's up to the board to decide what we're gonna do down the road, right? And
Yep.
figure that out. I think that we all have an interest in doing it at some point. But that's kind of where we were at, and that's where I felt it was important for the department to have that second in command.
Great. I think it's a good idea.
Well,
Yeah, I think both of you explained this pretty well. I'm very excited to get the process moving, so as soon as we can facilitate that, we have to have some meetings in the meantime, and loop current provisional chief Gary Copper in, so Quest can get down to the station and get any new information they need. I'd like to see that come to fruition sooner than later.
Mr. Chairman?
yeah.
The only other concern that I have is because Mr. Hinckley just mentioned our provisional chief. He's actually here tonight, right?
Yep.
Mr. Gary Kopp is our provisional chief. And in this, it says that you'll be sitting down with the chief. That's kind of impossible to do because he's in the assessment center.
Okay.
So you need to be very careful of what's going on with our provisional chief, right?
Yep.
As far as trying to extract too much information. There's probably ways that we can get you information from the department without it impacting Mr. Copper and hurting the integrity of the process, right? You talk a lot about the integrity of the process in here. I've read through everything. I've seen it before with you folks. I actually asked everybody that was coming in this time around, were you happy with Badge Quest? They all said, absolutely, we're very happy with them, right? So I'm honored to have you back to do this again for the sergeants that are taking this exam. I think it's important for them to have that input, and we're happy to have you back, and glad that you came in at the lowest bid.
Yep.
And you have an abundance of experience, not only in the Commonwealth of Mass, but other states as well. So I did review all of that. At first, I didn't see Acushnet, so I went back and looked at it again. I was like, oh, there it is. But anyways, that's it. I mean, you get the lead contact, Selectmen won't have, but you can, if you need to reach out, if you want to have individual meetings with members of the board to talk to us, that's great too. I would like to have that opportunity to have with you folks. But the lead guys, Selectmen, the chairman won't
So
have.
here's the deal, this is my contact info, but I'm also gonna have Sydney Viveros, who I think you've communicated, and then Jamie V as backup. I want double and triple backup. I mean,
Okay.
I get emails, but I'm not addicted to looking at emails, so
Great.
my cell phone's there. I do not want this process.
Do you
to,
prefer cell phone or email?
Text is always good,
Text, okay.
but email, like over communicate. We don't want to see this.
Stall.
We need you to
Yep,
get cranking.
sure thing.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you very much.
just keep in mind what I talked about when you go to the police department, right? Obviously, you can get toured by Chief
So
Copper.
we'll just keep a single stream of communication, so there won't be any additional, I won't reach out to anybody else, I just have a single stream of
Yeah, and
communication.
then we'll coordinate
Yes,
individual
exactly.
meetings.
Yep.
If you want, I can, I'll figure out, I can talk to Chief Copper ahead of time. I can meet you down there to do a tour, or one of the selectmen can. We can do that. We'll figure that out.
Great, sounds good.
We could, Mr. Chairman, we could also, so we don't, just to be able to provide the most information about the department, I think it's important, we'll coordinate with Chief Copper, what officer that's not taking the assessment center could be there with us as well, to walk us through the station and give them as much input as they can to keep the 4 or 5 individuals that are going through the assessment center out of that picture, right? And we'll just bring in one of our other officers, lead guys, to be able to walk you through the facility, explain things, and maybe the know-how of the department, right?
Okay.
So we'll leave that, we'll have a conversation, the chairman can have that conversation with Mr. Copper and figure out who that designee is gonna be. But again, it's all about the integrity of the process.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Mr.
Take care.
Chairman, while you folks are doing the minutes, if I can grab a minute with Mr. Cogswell and Jamie V.
Yep.
We'll,
All right, we've got a bunch of minutes, May 9th, May 16th, May 22nd, May 27th, June 16th, June 16th, 2025. The gentleman had a chance to look at these.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank Mr. Hinckley, first of all, for getting in touch with Patricia. Mr. Hinckley, is that her name?
Correct.
I've never had the opportunity to meet her, but I can tell you, I went through every set of this minutes, and as you know, in the past, I've done some corrections, just for, not necessarily correction, just more information. And I'll tell you, I went through each and every one of these set of minutes, and she's been very dialed in, and she's doing an incredible job. So I just wanted, if Patricia, if you happen to watch this meeting, which I know you will because you'll be doing the minutes, thank you very much for the job that you're doing and how you're expediting the minutes that we're passed on. So thank you, Patricia. And I would make a motion to approve all minutes as presented.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, just to touch on that as well, I also have to give credit to Selectman Warner for making it to the interview process of that. I had a problem the day that we were supposed to sit down, and he stepped right in, so I'm glad that worked out as well.
Thank you. All good. All right, next, Hank Turgeon with American Traffic Control. Just by way of background, Hank is an Acushnet Acushnet resident, but also a decorated.
Stealing my thunder, Selectmen, now you're stealing my thunder. I'll give you one.
It's my meeting, Hank, so, no, glad to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I just want to say nice things about you. I didn't want you to have to do it for
I
yourself.
didn't want you to lie right on
Thank you, sir.
paper.
But as I mentioned, Hank's an Acushnet resident, but more importantly, a decorated police officer, a professional, comes from a long line of police officers. I think your dad was an officer, and your son, and your brother, and nothing but great respect for you and the Turgeon family. So I'm thrilled that you're here today. So now you can talk about
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be in front of you. I've been a resident in the town of Acushnet since 2000. I love our little town. I love that we have no real intersections, no traffic lights, which leaves our police officers to do the duties that they do. And Chief Copper, thank you for stepping up in the position you're in right now. So throughout my 37 years of law enforcement, I was a workaholic, worked every detail that I had the chance to pick up. My father was a workaholic when he was a detail officer. My son, however, did not catch that gene. My son is a police officer here in the town. He is not a detail worker, which I'm extremely happy about because he gets to enjoy life and work 40 hours and earn his pay. But throughout the latter part of my career, we started to notice a trend where the younger officers don't want to work. They don't want to work the extra shifts. I commend you guys for taking the steps and going to one of the highest detail rates in the state. And now you're seeing that. And I just spoke to Chief Copper about this. People are sucking up the details. They're grabbing them, which is good because your roads are safe. But that's going to get stale. And you already had to have a flagger company come in. We're just here to make a proposal that if you're looking at outside flagger companies, we would like to be that company to take care of you. We're already on the DTS, the detail tracking system that you guys pay for your officers to be on. We can already see statewide the traffic details that are going unfilled. Today, you guys had 2 traffic details that weren't accepted. We're going to provide civilian flaggers to come in and do that, and some of our employees will also be retired police officers. I gave you a pamphlet of not only what our job is going to be, what our flaggers can do, but some of our experience on the back. Combined, the owners, we have over 80 years in law enforcement. I take almost half of it. We have a veteran in our group and a well-known business owner in New Bedford. 3 of the owners are town residents, and we're here to serve if you guys need that void filled.
Right. Yeah, Hank, as we talked about, we had just done a contract to try to create some opportunity not only for our officers, but retired officers and so on and so forth. And I wanted to make sure that we were on good footing with them. From what I understand, you've spoken to the union rep, which I'm glad you did. And so, I think it's definitely something that we'll look into for sure. And we can do business with you.
So in that conversation with the union rep, in my 37 years, 25 of it, I was a union member. I was union president for 9 years, and we always fought for the benefits of our officers. But our officers are starting to walk away from that, so we're there not to take jobs away from your people, but when you have a void. Taunton got hit with 2 big bills because they didn't have anybody to work detail, so they canceled the company. $10,000 for asphalt, then another bill a couple days later. So they had to go to a similar program. So we don't want you guys to be in a similar situation because I pay taxes in this town. And the liability if a detail goes unfilled and something happens at that detail site, they come right to the deep pockets, which is going to be the town of Acushnet.
Awesome. Well, I think, like we do, we'll definitely do some research. I encourage Bob and Kevin to talk to you personally, get more information, and we'll just keep you posted, and
Okay.
we'll stay on top of it.
Thank you very much. I did
best
write
of
my
luck. It's
phone
always
number on
good
the
to
back of
see-
the flyer.
Glad to see Acushnet guys, Acushnet people, businesses doing good things, and hope you wish you well.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
thanks.
Have a good day, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is Veterans Day Parade. I just put this on here, guys, because we get a lot of paperwork that comes in, and sometimes we see things, sometimes we don't, and I just wanted to make sure we all have this on our calendars. Brad's here. I wonder if you want to talk about the parade and what you have planned, and
Yeah, so I had a meeting 2 weeks ago with the fire chief, the acting police chief, Gary Copper, the EMA director, We all sat down, went over what we're gonna do, kind of like what we did last year. These are the flyers that I'll be passing out and putting up everywhere. One's for Reese across Acushnet, that's another thing that we do, but yeah, as far as the parade goes, we should be all set. Not much else to talk about, so we're gonna have a parade again.
It's a great event. We appreciate you doing it.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yeah.
may, Brad, last year, bringing the parade back, I think was a huge deal. And the turnout was awesome, and I think you did an incredible job, and I think the veterans in this town appreciated it. So thank you, and anytime this happens, as long as you're here and we're here, I think we have zero issues
Okay.
supporting this.
That's my pleasure, I agree. It's what I like to do, so
So Saturday,
hopefully it'll be bigger.
So Saturday, November 8th.
Right, the Saturday before Veterans Day. I try and do it that way because we're a small community and everybody wants to go to Fairhaven and New Bedford for Veterans Day. So this way I can get more people hopefully to show up for ours.
Awesome. Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Mr. Fish,
Yes, sir.
before you run away,
All right.
can we get that helicopter?
So I actually put in through the federal government, through Otis, to have a flyover that day. I should hear something this week, so
Nice.
I don't know
Last
yet,
year it
but
flew over right as we were, right? Didn't it, like, it was coordinated
yeah.
where it flew over?
So hopefully we'll have one that'll fly down Main Street over the parade.
That's awesome.
That's the goal, so I put the paperwork in. Last year I tried, I put the paperwork in too late, so that didn't happen, so.
All good.
Hopefully this year, hopefully I'll find out this week.
Great.
It's kind of like the big show.
Yeah.
For some reason, everybody loves that helicopter,
Right,
right?
Yeah.
So,
that's why I did it for 23 years.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, good. Thank you, Brett. All right. Gary, Chief, come on up.
Good evening.
Hey, all right. I know we had talked at the last time we were here, you were before us, we had appointed Sergeant, and with that creates a domino effect on how it impacts the department, and there were some deployments and so on and so forth. I know you had sent us off for communication, so I want to bring you in to talk about how we can, what we need to do to round out the department so we don't have any gaps in coverage and so on and so forth. So, the floor is yours.
Well, good evening, and thank you for having me here tonight. I'm here to just discuss some staffing concerns that I see in the department right now. Several years ago, the department was battling a staffing and / overtime issue, and the town took steps to hire several dispatchers and officers. And what that did is allow us to increase our day shift and our 4 to 12 shift from 1 sergeant and 2 officers to 1 sergeant and 3 officers. That extra person allowed us some flexibility in not replacing the first officer out on a sick day, personal day, holiday. It helped us to reduce staffing auto-ins. It gave us flexibility in facing situations like an officer getting deployed or injuries or training, or an officer transferring to another department. A year ago, we had an officer transfer to Wareham and 1 to Dartmouth. And we also had the retirement of Chief Richmond. However, because of the hiring of Colin Matten and Adrian Fonts and the return of Andrew Cadero from deployment, we didn't have to add any additional staffings, and we still had 1 sergeant and 1 officer on each shift. However, with the retirement of Chief Carew, the deployment of another officer, we no longer have that buffer on the day shift and the 4-12 shift. The result is 2 open shifts a week, and any days off taken by any uniform officer, such as holidays, personal days, sick days, training, etc., now have to be filled at overtime. Concerns I have for the future is that the town's taking steps to add a deputy chief. This will cause the same backfilling issues that we're currently facing. And there's a real possibility of several retirements in the near future. As far as dispatch, we currently have 4 full-time dispatchers covering our shifts. This is down from 4 full-time dispatchers and 2 part-time dispatchers. The result is 2 shifts a week are filled at overtime and a huge amount of auto-ins on these 4 individuals. And as we all know, the auto-ins eventually take a toll on the job. And the last thing you want to have is an overstressed 911 operator. when you call for an emergency.
So so we've got to make a decision on, or at least consideration on some patrol officers and then also possibly dispatch. Gentlemen, any thoughts?
Just,
You can go, Mr. Hinckley.
I'll just touch base on the dispatcher aspect of it. I can't get into too much detail because it involves an ASME contract. But part of that discussion for dispatch was working on competitive pay. So tonight's probably not the best night to discuss dispatch, but I think we might have a plan that might help that out in the future, just so everybody's aware.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, to go beyond what Mr. Hinckley said, this has been an effort on multiple ASME contracts to bring the dispatch pay up. The problem is, it's not just to the fact that originally we had lower paid dispatchers. They're in the range now. The problem is that the people that are trained and certified are not out there.
Yeah.
And we actually poached two of our dispatchers from other towns because we had been adjusting the salary. And it's a very difficult situation. But we're going to, as Mr. Hinckley said, we're endeavoring to keep us competitive in recruiting. But it's finding the people that are willing to do that tough job and having to recruit trained individuals.
Yep, Mr. Chairman. So, I don't disagree with anything that was said. That problem exists no matter what industry we're talking about, right? We struggle with DPW, we struggle with office people. It's in every industry out there, whether you're in public or private sector. I've said it before, where are the people going? Where are they working, right? So, I mean, you can't just keep blowing out salaries because we only have so much capacity, the taxpayers can't keep absorbing higher costs associated with everything. I'm glad that the chief brought up dispatch because I agree 100%. I believe we need that 5th dispatch position in there to cover those shifts. I think he alluded to the holiday time, I know vacation, personal time, sick time, and all that stuff. Just with those 4, let alone the shifts that are already open, just with all of that accumulation of time, it puts us in a really bad spot with order-ins, as he said, and if they don't take them, and then we're putting police officers there at overtime. We already know what the problem is with the overtime. I did review the budget, and I'm a little reluctant to talk about too much pertaining to the budget and things that we've done in the past, but we do have the capacity to bring on another patrol within this budget. So it would be my recommendation to help out this department as fast as possible. We're gonna have that dialogue with the additional dispatcher, additional staff come budget season in January, February, with the chief, or whoever may be the chief at the time. I'm sure it'll still be Mr. Copper based on the information we've just given now. But we need to have that dialogue and see how we are gonna finance the operation moving forward. But for right now, I think the department absolutely needs to give the provisional chief, Mr. Copper, the authority to get out and get at least one officer moving. We don't have in the budget academy costs. What I would like to do is at least authorize the chief to be able to go after, it's off the civil service list, chief?
Oh, yes, the process, from what I understand it, I'm only a month into the job, but my process I understand is the town would contact the civil service, they would send us a list, and they would also mail out to the applicants on the list if they would be interested in the job. They would then come here, sign whether they would accept it, and then we go through the background process and so forth.
So could we, in that process, because that's mandatory, we don't have a choice but to go to civil service for the list, but in that process, we could also be looking for a lateral transfer, couldn't we?
We absolutely could be looking for a lateral transfer. We can actually, I was reluctant to put anything out about that until obviously spoke with you gentlemen. Maybe we get lucky, and maybe we get a super qualified candidate from another jurisdiction that wants to come and work for us. I think it's a possibility, if not a strong possibility, that might happen, simply because our last two contracts have brought our salaries up quite a bit, and the detail rate, like Mr. Turgeon was just saying. So I think we're a very attractive place. That being said, you just gotta have the right candidate.
Yeah.
Because I don't want, the last thing I want to do is hire someone just because they're one body.
Right.
So if we can't get a lateral, I'm gonna go off and assume, you can correct me whenever you need to, Chief, is we don't have money in the budget for academy costs because of the budget constraints that we've been over the past 2 years, right? So we've been trying to cut as much as we can to just stick with what we have, and it was working out. But of course, here we go again, we're going backwards. And that's unfortunate because we made great strides to go forward with our PD. And I think that's why you're here. You're trying to keep us moving in the right direction, right? Instead of falling back behind again with the order ins. I was part of that. It was horrible. It wasn't fair to our officers. They did what they had to do, and they stepped up to the plate and did it on behalf of this community. So I appreciate everything everybody did. But if we had to go to academy, we'd have to figure out a funding source for that. What is that?
Well, if we call for a list, then I would imagine we have to go to the academy. The other option would be, I mean, you put out for, I can see if there's any interest in laterals, but I mean, if you're gonna
Can you
hire-
run parallel tracks?
Well, I think once we call for the list, correct me if I'm wrong, but
We
we
should do laterals first.
can try,
Yeah.
and I can put out like feelers and see if there's saying that we are interested in hiring, taking the officer over and go from there.
Give it a week. I'm sure, in the community, you'll know pretty quickly, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I think we all have friends. We all have
Yeah.
friends that are police officers in other jurisdictions, and they talk. And this is an attractive place. It might be a lure for someone from New Bedford who's just got on there, and they're like, I really would like a little safer community to work in. I mean, someone that lives in Acushnet who's working out of town might want to come here just for that reason.
So do this. I think that's probably makes sense, is go look for a lateral, stay in communication with us, and as you know, we're on call. Like if we have to have a meeting to get somebody in here, we'll schedule a meeting that's not 2 weeks from now, so keep us posted. And if we have to meet next week to figure it out, you know what I'm saying? Like you've got the authority that after, if we don't find any lateral candidates, then to go for the civil service list.
Obviously, if someone reaches out to me, I'd have to be in touch with you, gentlemen,
Of
to
course.
see what kind of benefit package you'd be willing to
Yeah.
offer that individual as far as step raises.
So Chief, we've done that in the past for a lateral, right? So we do have some flexibility within the contract to be able to do that. So, I mean, if you find, whoever you find, don't just say, yeah, no, you have to have that conversation with us, right? Give us the benefit of the doubt, have that conversation with us, and say, where can we start this particular person based on their experience?
Well, I mean, there is my concern because, like I said, I haven't been in the process of hiring before, but there is whether or not they have to be on the civil service list or not. I'm not sure if that comes into play. I know they have a merit-based hiring, which is new to civil service, which you can take someone outside of the list and then you have to replace them with somebody on the list. But I'm not sure the
Can town
details.
council, can we just do a session with the chief and Jamie? You guys sit in on it and talk to town council. I'm sure they must have some,
Yeah, there's a one off, one on the list type of situation.
right?
There's a number of ways that it can be done, and I'll contact Darren and we'll.
Right. But get a memo, do that,
They have
but
to-
also get us a memo so we all know.
They have to be, we're a civil service department, they have to be civil service department as well for a transfer.
But there's also now and I've got to see if it's gone through the whole legislature, where you can do one off that isn't on the list, and then one that's on the list alternate.
Call a town
Yeah.
who's poached one of our people
But-
and ask them how to do it.
But it's I think it's already passed both houses, I just don't know.
I am aware that there are police officers that are using that model. I believe it was made because there was a lot of the towns that were leaving civil service, so they came up with this idea to make it a little bit more flexible and hiring. I'm just not sure the exact details of it.
One more thing, Chairman.
Yeah, of course.
Mr. Chairman, one more thing. So I don't know if it was in the minutes that we just approved, what batch it was in. I'll go back through it all. I'm pretty sure it was in here. There was some talk from the previous chief. I think it was Chief Richmond at the time. I don't believe it was Mr. Carew, but I think it was Chief Richmond. And it was only maybe a year and a half ago that there's a grant program out there for hiring police officers. So if you want to, I'll look in here for you, Chief, and if I can find it, I'll let you know.
That was Chief Richmond, and I can contact him to find out the details, but I do remember him saying they you need to have a commitment that you would keep that employee employed for a certain number of years.
Whatever it is, I'm just trying to help the situation right now.
I will contact.
And we're trying to unclog the sink right now, so any way that we can do that is the best approach. I just remembered, I'm pretty sure it was inside these minutes that I read something about that grant program. So if it's out there and it's still available, maybe you can look into that. If we have to go through the civil service list through the academy, maybe that's the Band-Aid we need right now to push us over the goal line. Along with another officer that we have budgeted for, right? So it might be a way to capture another one. Mr. Kelly was talking about the one-on, one-off thing. Maybe that's the approach we could take and get one free for the first, I think it was the first year or maybe even 2 years. And then after that, we retain them for 3 years or something like that. I forgot exactly how that grant program worked, but I believe they paid a very large portion of the salary for the first year or two.
I do remember Chief Richmond talking about that.
So let's explore that as well, see if that's still out there, maybe. And it can get us a little further ahead.
Okay.
All right, okay, thank you. Get your marching orders, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Chief, would you mind sticking around for another 2 minutes?
Sure.
I just have a question on the next agenda item.
Okay.
Just need some clarification.
Okay, so, rock and roll. Mr. Hinckley, number 4.
Okay. Just a minute here. Gentlemen, so the next item, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, with conversations with the former provisional chief, Tom Carew, we had discussed safety at the Four Corners intersection. And we put a temporary halt until we can figure out a process and everything like that. I had a gentleman from the Lions Club reach out to me. I told him I would at least put it in front of the board in regards to how we could authorize something like that. I know there's stipulations involving you can't really say yes to one if you're not going to say yes to all. But according to this gentleman at the Lions Club, Mr. Doug Thomas, he said he had spoke with Chief Copper in regards to, is it possible to do if there was police detail, or I think Mr. Thomas said maybe a possibility where they volunteer their time to help direct traffic. So I told him it's a board decision, it's not something that I can approve, but my ultimate concern was the safety at this intersection. Just for some clarification points, I know a big thing was children running in and out of the streets. I did speak with Mr. Thomas, and he said there'd be absolutely no children participating in this event. Not really an event, it's more of a fundraiser. But doing something similar to what all the other, I guess you could call them taggers, do at the Four Corners, which is filling a boot, essentially. So I guess my question to Chief Copper would be like, when you spoke with Mr. Thomas on this, are you comfortable with something like that happening if there's police presence?
I would say it depends. My concern is not so much having adults standing with the boot, but how can you say yes to the Lions Club and say no to the Little League or to the dance studio? And that's who ends up calling. And what happens is there's children everywhere, and that's a busy intersection, and they're confused because people are looking what's going on. It's just a safety concern.
Yep.
I don't know if I would want to take on the liability of directing traffic around all these people on the road if we didn't have to.
Yep.
As far as volunteers, I mean, the offices are straight out right now, but if they would be able to volunteer some time, I mean, we could, not a hard no, I have a hard time envisioning a way of doing this safely.
Mr. Chairman.
I mean, is there another place, like, you know, if it was not this place, but like in front of Bloom Farms or Cumberland Farms or some other, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, correct.
the bank.
And I think Chief just brought up a very good point, you know. I don't think this could potentially, now that I'm hearing what you're saying and thinking about how we phrased this last time, without rewriting policy, I don't think there's an actual way we could authorize this without forcing the option onto somebody else. And if somebody else, like Chief just mentioned, decides they want to do this and comes in front of us and presents it and offers the same stipulations, but we can't say no if they're going to have Little Leaguers doing it. And I think it could possibly turn into a mess without changing policy and putting something in place. Of course, I always support what the Lions Club does and anybody else that's trying to raise funds for any of their projects, but I would default to the safety concerns.
I would say the same thing, like, the Lions Club's great for this town, and I would love to help them out. I just, in my position, I just don't think it's not just me, it's prior administrations thought the same way. I just think it's a liability of the town and the department by allowing that to continue.
I mean, if it's a case of like, that intersection's terrible as it is without anybody in the street, but if there was another location, right, like if it was up the road, maybe that's a little bit more doable, or, you know, somewhere else. I mean, look, we're about to review the annual, an event permit form, right? And so there's a bunch of stuff in here. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just would feel terrible if somebody gets hurt and it's on us, you know? But anyway. When is this event? When is it? When are they looking
I
at
was
this?
actually looking for the email that was attached, and
It's coming up in October, I believe.
it was
It's hot.
October 11th was the requested date.
So I got a phone call on the Lions Club doing it as well, and I talked to Chief Copper about it, look, and no matter what you do, if you allow one group to do it, you're basically forced to allow anybody to do it. And I share, as much as I know they're all grown adults at the Lions, but as he alluded to, we had a dance studio do it a few years ago. We have people
Last
from
month they called for it.
Huh?
It's every month I get a call for this.
I mean, I know it's the Four Corners. I know that's why it's attractive. You got a four-way stop. There's a lot more opportunity from the traffic coming from here than sitting out over there, because all you're doing is capturing really Acushnet residents over there. Here you're capturing everybody using us as a cut through to Fayette and New Bedford. I get it. You can raise a lot more money with the Four Corners. The problem is it does come down to the safety concerns. And when we heard Chief Carew talk about it, and now Mr. Copper talking about it, you know, it's tough for me to say, yeah, let's just do it and take that risk. I don't think that's a good risk to take, and God forbid, I think from all of our hearts, we would love to see it take place, but in the same token, from all of our hearts, the last thing we want to do is see somebody get hurt.
It is a
It's
big
not the
fun.
people doing it. It could be, you know, a car, somebody driving the car, right? Like,
That's
so-
the variable you can't control.
Right,
you
so
know.
question, I mean, so this thing's October 11th. I mean, I know like during Christmas time, Salvation Army puts out kettles, people can drop money in and all that stuff. I would have no problem whatsoever, you know, if the Lions Club wanted to put something, that town hall, there's a lot of traffic there, and so people want to donate, create some mechanism to donate, you know, at the library there. They'd have to be responsible for taking it, you know, going getting it and that type of stuff, to provide them with the opportunity to do that. You know, but I just
Well, fair enough.
a little bit nervous about it, to be honest with you. But thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
No problem.
Thanks, Chief.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Next item, the event permit. had a little bit of discussion about that over the last week or so. Mr. Hinckley, did you want this on the agenda, or?
I did.
This was Mr. Kelly, Mr.
Yeah, we've
Chair.
had, whether it was, some Halloween programs, or we had a
Anything and everything.
Charlie Kirk Memorial go on. I think the issue is, again, we don't want to get in the way of people either running a business or having, appropriate expressions of grief or whatever that might be. It's just, we always want people to, at the end of the day, be safe. And whether it's for fundraising, and I know, Mr. Gasper, this is your baby, but we've talked about it, the car show, that the center of town is just really treacherous, and to do events there is really hard. And so, I guess with that memorial that took place, it was, we had traffic and safety concerns.
Correct.
This is the center of town is the center of town. I get it. It's visible. We want people to see it, but by the same token, it is not the safest place to be doing things. So with that said, we had an event permit, and there's some revisions. Jamie, what do you got?
Mr. Blake and I, town council, talked a number of times on this, and the last sentence before the block that says alcohol permit seems to imply that it's activities on private property, but it doesn't say that do not require a permit include funeral ceremonies, private yard sales, bake sales, Christmas tree sales on private property, fundraising, car washes, certain retail sales, promotions, etc. Mr. Blake suggested that we consider a rewrite where you specifically say activities on private property that do not require a permit are, and list them through, and then possibly add a sentence that says all events on public lands shall require a permit. And that way, all property that's owned by the town, a permit will come to the board for their approval, since all private lands are under the auspices of the board.
Public lands.
Oh, public lands.
Public lands, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, obviously, I would like to see this simply because of the liability factor of it. And once again, to go back to safety. I will never, ever stop anybody from exercising any of their constitutional rights.
Right.
But interpretations aren't always what it seems. And anything involving public property that could possibly bring large crowds. I'm not looking for the money. I think the permit fee is $15, and there's other fees involved depending on size. I'm not even worried about the money aspect of it, purely from a safety standpoint. Like you said, this intersection's tough. You go around a blind corner and you have people crossing the street at night. Traffic control worries, the police are always willing to help, but they shouldn't be, put in a situation where they have to worry about what's happening on any given night because there wasn't any proper communication in time. And I fully support changing the language of this to make it work and make it so at least we know that we have all the appropriate parties informed and we have the decision to agree if they need liability insurance, if they need police details, stuff like that. I think having the open line of communication is beneficial. I mean, we have the right to waive permit fees. We have the right to essentially enforce this document as a board. And I think this would add a little bit more teeth to it, if you ask me.
And I think, we've discussed, and I know you'd sent to communication, but I think as a town, if we were able to provide and suggest places to do vigils, peaceful protests, what have you, like Pope Park, our school parking lot, Council on Aging, you know, I think we should look into that as well. You know, if somebody wants to do a vigil and they can use Pope Park, I don't have an issue with that, or, you know, our school parking lot. You know, if the intent is to go respectfully, you know, pay your regards, whether it's in the center of town or somewhere else, like, you know, I think, but safety is the most important thing, so.
Agreed.
So I think, you know, Jamie's initial, I'd like to review it a little bit more, and then we can come back to this. And-
Yeah, that, as long as that type of direction is what the board wants, then town council can make sure it's constitutionally correct, the language.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta get it right, because, you know, we gotta encourage free speech, but by the same token, we're doing this safe manner.
Correct.
All right, Mr. Gasper?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah?
I got nothing.
That is the first. I'm gonna, hold on, can you sign, can you memorialize this?
Calendar?
Yeah.
Put that on the calendar. How do you like
I don't even know what to do.
Huh?
All right, good. No, I'm all flummoxed. I don't know what's next.
I think enough was said, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes,
you
sir.
want a minute to catch up, I'll jump on the next one if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
please do.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna ask that we don't address number 6 tonight, which is the MOU ratification.
Okay.
After going through the red line, there's a couple of stipulations and stuff that I need clarification on before we do this. And also in my haste to get this on the agenda, I think that there's some executive session discussion that should be had before we ratify this.
All right.
And I would ask if you gentlemen happen to have any open dates for a quick day meeting this week coming up. I would like to get this done quickly before our next meeting, obviously. But I think it's appropriate to have an executive session discussion before we move forward on this.
What works for you? So the earliest we could do it would be Thursday, but I'm down for Friday. That's usually a good day for me.
This week?
This week, unfortunately, I
Okay.
have zero
Sometime next-
availability, so
all
it
right.
would have to be next week.
Tuesday or Wednesday next week?
Next Thursday's holiday, Columbus Day,
No, next Monday's a holiday.
That's what I meant to say. What did I say?
Thursday.
So
Public
Tuesday,
land, private land,
Tuesday.
Monday, Thursday.
Thursday, whatever.
EIEIO.
So, gentlemen, it's really, I have pretty much any time after 10 next weekend currently open, doesn't matter what day it is.
Tuesday or Wednesday, get it done.
Tuesday, if that works for.
Yeah, and-
Tuesday during the day?
And then if you need to catch up, the next Tuesday is a regular
Regular
scheduled
scheduled
meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
That you can take care of it.
So you want to do Tuesday during the day?
That'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
I took
10
the
a.m.?
search committee
10
at
a.m.,
night.
whatever.
I would need 11, if that's okay.
11?
That'll give
That
me
works
time to
good for
get the
me. It's
kids
perfect for me.
Yep.
So if you get an email back from the email I sent out with Slocum Street people, you see my email, that we need to get a meeting with, the joint meeting with all these folks, because I've had it up to here with that.
Well,
And I put in that email, I put anywhere between 10:30 and 2:30, but next week to get a date.
All right.
So,
Let's do it.
I mean, Tuesday's still available. I think we'll only be in executive for half an hour, 45 minutes. I mean, I looked it over, a few things, but nothing major. So,
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Good work. Thank you. All right. Next is DPW.
and that's an executive session, right?
Executive session.
Tuesday at 11, executive session, ASME.
And I think we could still technically put it on open. If we don't resolve anything, we don't have to do it.
Correct.
So executive and open.
Correct.
So we've got DPW, Morningside Ave, reclamation and paving. We've got a detailed report from Dan. This is good. I don't know, gentlemen.
So, Mr. Chairman, you know, I went out there with Mr. Menard, I talked to him, and in last meeting, we were in 2 weeks ago, he was out on vacation.
Yep.
So I asked him when he got back to make sure he could get us the information over to give the board a cost to reclaim and pave Morningside Ave based on Mr. Hinckley's concerns with residents out there and things of the like. So he did provide us with a number. It would have to come out of Chapter 90, but looking at his numbers, I'm gonna say he's good to go, so I'll make a motion to approve in the amount of 100 and... Jamie, can I use a different number than what he's presenting here? Because it's coming from Chapter 90, can I just say up to instead, to give a little wiggle room on his quote?
Or you can, because it's coming from 90, you can use the higher number, and if we don't go up to it.
Right, it's Chapter 90 funds?
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve from Chapter 90 funds in the amount up to $110,000 for Morningside Ave reclaiming and paving.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, are we gonna do this ourselves, or are we gonna put this out to?
Let's go. Well, so I have to check with the town administrator on procurement laws, Mr. Chairman, so
Okay.
I can get back to you on that.
Alright.
Not divulge too much information.
Okay.
Sometimes less is better
All right.
for the sake of this.
Final review of special town meeting. What do we got?
We got one article, Mr. Chairman, which is, in the latest version, it's the last article, and it's an article concerning to vote to raise an appropriate transfer from PEG access and cable reserve funds, transfer from available funds, file for, accept or expend grants and/or matching funds provided by grants, borrow or otherwise provide a sum or sums of money not to exceed $49,000 to purchase and equip a utility van with mounted aerial lift capability for the Acushnet CATV department, or take any other action thereon or in relation to. And this money would come out of the CATV reserve fund, which presently contains $996,505. It's at a request by the cable CATV department. It would help for the maintenance and repairs of the town's fiber system, as well as various of their other events and jurisdictions. I talked to town council about this, and he told me that the wording is proper. The motion will be specific and will say the 49,000 from CATV reserve funds. And this is the only article you have not considered in the past. And I apologize that it wasn't in that before, but we were trying to vet it with town council and the CATV department to make sure it was what they wanted. It's not going to cost the taxpayers money. It comes out of the cable fees.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Mr. Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, but this could only be used for cable areas such as fiber, or like you mentioned in this description, videotaping, like outside public events.
It could be used for any activity that the CATV or their employees were involved in. And with fiber getting more and more Anything attached to the fiber is also included, which includes alarm systems.
So who does the maintenance and repairs to our fiber? Like who?
Our people,
So like Nick goes up, he'd be going up.
Nick
on a
and
lift.
Lucas, and,
Luke. So they'd be going up on telephone poles?
yeah, well, Luke goes up onto high wire for,
So, at first, I was a little concerned, but then when I seen him up on the rickety ladder at Lake Street putting
Got
up
it,
security cameras, Dave,
All right.
I was kinda like, I don't really like
Okay.
this appearance, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
God forbid, hey, I need, and the guy that's holding the ladder on a pole that wobbles like this, right? So you have a flat peg with a round pole.
Like Chevy Chase and
then-
National.
Yeah, right, and they turn around and he's going to pick something up, and the next thing you know, so I'm
All right.
like, you know, how much use is it gonna get?
I didn't realize
I don't know,
how
but
it goes,
it's probably quite a bit, knowing what we're doing with fiber and security cameras and things of the like, so it wouldn't hurt to have it. It's coming from the cable reserves. I don't see a big issue with it. I think it's something that we can use.
and some of our personnel work for other companies on installing the high-tension wires on those big
Okay.
towers.
We can paint the facade on Town Hall as long as we have a wire hanging out of the bucket. We just have a paintbrush at the same time, right? We can get creative.
Not for nothing.
We'll get creative with
All
it,
right,
so.
that's
if-
fine.
Mister, if we don't have a problem, I'll make a motion to approve, I guess that's Article 16, Mr. Kelly?
Right now, it's Article 15, because.
Oh, because the back
we
says
removed
16.
one. Yeah, but we removed one, but that's why I'm saying PHE Access Cable Reserve Fund article.
Okay.
So, can I, Mr. Chairman, before we get,
Yeah.
because I'm seeing some change, and I know that we did the change because of the revenues, and I think it's a DOR thing.
The water one is being pulled.
That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about
Okay.
CPC, and it's
Yeah.
$64,000. But that's just an amendment, because you got an Article 25 in here, but that's an amendment to the Article 25 from the June town meeting.
Correct.
Spring town meeting, and we're adjusting the differences, and that's where that number comes out to.
Correct.
There's no spending from it, it's just adjustment so
Adjustment.
that we satisfy DOR.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I do have one more concern, and I apologize, but I thought of it when I seen Badge Quest in here. We don't have funding for Badge Quest. So my question to the board is, before this sucker goes out, do we want to add an article for the $5,900 and change to pay Badge Quest for the assessment center?
Do you want to do it from there, or do you want to do it from the reserve account, since we're in almost October right now, and there's been nothing that's come out of the reserve account yet? You have either option.
I understand that, but I made a comment the last time we talked about doing that. I don't really want to bring that back up on camera, but I have that concern that I spoke of last time, and I'm just giving the board the option of whether or not they want $5,944 to do it via an article from free cash, and we pay for the assessment center. It's just an option I'm trying to give the board, so that when we come to that bill time, we have a funding source.
So it's up to the board. It's very easy for us to put that in the chart, as you know.
Whoever's gonna be the cleanest, I think, reserves are for reserves, this way people know exactly what this is going
All
to,
right.
so if you wanna stick an article.
I need a motion from the board to amend,
First, let's go back to the PEG motion.
okay,
Yeah, so it was, I'm sorry, Mr. Hinckley.
No worries.
Because I called it Article 16, I think Mr. Kelly called it Article 15.
Correct.
How about, because it's everywhere,
Article.
it's everywhere, it's Article 16. So what I'm just gonna say is I'm gonna make a motion to approve the CATV reserve in the amount of $49,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And you can determine what article it's gonna be when we finalize with council, because I've seen an email from council saying he's reviewing this tonight, right, Mr. Kelly?
for the third time.
Yeah, so whatever article, which one are we amending on that expenditures, is it?
Article 2.
Article 2, current year.
We'll add a line to the police department, we'll put the appropriate numbers.
It's not, that wouldn't be Article 2, not according to your chart in the back.
Article 2, oh, for which?
I don't know, your index is all messed up. So Article 2 is for the ASB contract, so it's definitely not that one.
No.
On this index it is. Hold on. Operating budget, it does say Article 2 here, but your index is messed up.
Yeah,
Article
this
1's
is-
prior year bills, as it always is. Article 2, it would be under that one. Oh, you're just adding it through there, total additional funds.
Yep,
Whatever this index thing is in the back, it's kind of messed up. But whatever, you know where to add it.
Article,
What's that amount from Badge Class?
current year budget amendment is what we're doing, it's Article 2.
Right, and you want to approve that article, to amend that article for an article for the police department assessment center in the amount of $5,944? Because that's what the bid came in at, Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
A second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Anything else? Regarding town meeting, all right, gentlemen, selectmen announcements.
Mr. Chairman, if we could try to get Old Colony back in for more discussions. I think there was FinCom questions that were unanswered to talk about that.
Yeah.
That school building project.
Sure.
I mean, it is the biggest debt the town will ever undertake, in my opinion. I think we owe it to the residents of Acushnet to vet that out a bit more.
Yeah, I know they've done a ton of, sessions at the school itself, but if you want to have one here in town, we absolutely can do that. We'll get them on the agenda.
I know I think they went over that to Council on Aging, but I think they did that at like 11 a.m. It's just nice to get them in the selectmen's meeting
Yeah,
again and
sure.
have a little conversation with them. I mean, the last time they came in, they were obligated to be, I think, in Lakeville that night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was only like an hour and 15 minutes. It was basically a presentation that they were doing. So,
Yep.
maybe a little bit more Q&A and have them not have to run off to another community that night would be great.
Sounds good.
Mr. Chairman,
So,
a long-time Acushnet Assessor's Office employee, Suzanne Sunick, passed away on September 25th. Just want to let anybody that didn't know her that we missed the ceremonies already for it, but I just wanted to say my heart goes out to the family. Spoke with a lot of people that did work with her, and she will be missed.
yeah, Sue was a sweetheart. She did a great job. Very great. Gentlemen, under personal privilege, I wanted to make an announcement to you, my colleagues, and Mr. Kelly, and those I work with at Town Hall, and the general public who have an interest, but just want to let you all know that I've made the decision to not run for re-election in the spring. You may be saying, well, why are you telling us now? It's a decision I've made. It's been a long time coming, and I just felt it's my obligation to let people know sooner than later, because I think there'll be people out there who would want to run for the seat, and I think to do it right, it takes time. It takes time to talk to your family, it takes time to talk to people in the community and supporters, and I want that for whoever decides to step up. It's nothing against, I love working with you guys, I love working with the town, it's just where I'm at in my life, between work and being able to do it the right way, and that's the standard I have. I just don't think I can deliver on that at this juncture in my life, so wanted to make people aware of it now, and Christian always has a place in my heart, but I will give it my all over the next 6 months. There's no such thing as a lame duck as far as I'm concerned, and I look forward to, we got a lot of stuff that we still want to get over the finish line and through the tape. So that is my announcement, gentlemen.
Very good, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, just so you know, I'm still trying to convince my wife that it was a good idea for me to run.
I think we're all at that, right? It's not an easy job. Most people think it is an easy job, but it's not an easy job. Especially the longer you do it, the more it takes a toll on you and your family. So I get it from your perspective, Mr. Chairman, but you have several months in front of you to reconsider that decision, and maybe you will, and maybe things will change over the next several months, and, you know, things could change for you, we'll see.
Well, I appreciate that, but I wouldn't have said it now if I didn't want other people to step up, so, but thank you, I do appreciate that. With that said, is there a motion to call the meeting to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.